All right, welcome in everyone. Thank you for coming into today's show. We have a slightly different way of running this. This is the second time I've had an in-person interview. That way the first one doesn't seem like a total fluke. I'm doing these on purpose now. And today I have on Amber. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. For those who don't know you, what's a little snippet of you, like whether it's your job or what you like to do? What makes Amber Amber?
Well, I would like to identify as an artist because I'm in the STEM field. I went to U of A for chemical engineering, but I would say my real passion in life is like art and trying new things and just kind of hanging out.
As far as art goes, are you a digital media, physical media, audio? What type?
I think a little bit of everything.
Oh.
No audio. I got into some digital art in college. I started designing stickers and drawing my cats, basically. But I think I do enjoy physical art more, watercolor, colored pencil, that kind of thing. I'm just getting into jewelry making,
Oh.
so I just like to try a little bit of everything.
For other artists out there, do you have like a brand or a style that boils down to any kind of phrasing that people will be recognizing, like Baroque, modern Baroque, jewel crafting, cat sticker, or whatever kind of thing?
Not really. That's kind of like the journey that I'm on is like finding my personal style, but I don't want to be too like, hold into a style. So I would kind of go with like colorful, whimsical, lots of textures and like just fun. I'm still kind of working that out, but I'm realizing I don't need to have like one, which relates to
Yeah.
everything that you talk about. So yeah, I don't need to just have one path.
It's like you can have lots of sidetracks. Yeah.
Yeah, whoa, he said the title.
I did it. I tried to put it in every one now, and that's the season 2 thing.
Whoa.
So, how long have you been doing art in any capacity you wish to count?
Technically, this sounds really awesome when I say it. Over 20 years.
Wow!
I like carried around a journal as a kid when I was like 5 or 6. I still have them. I drew a lot of cool girls and I drew a lot of mermaids.
What's a
And
cool girl?
honestly, I think it was like low key me being bisexual as a child. I drew a lot of like girls in fishnets and crop tops and piercings, which actually it was more just me manifesting the person I am today. I wanted to be a teen girl so bad.
Hey, that works. I like how it panned out that way. Be like, I don't know why I want this to exist, but I need that, and then it's you.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why I like to draw a bunch of girls in short skirts and cool piercings, but like, I think I want to be that one day.
I think we're all fine with that kind of media. I think
I
it's
think
all
my
right.
dream is to wear short skirts one day. My life dream.
So you mentioned that you'd like to call yourself an artist because you also do STEM. You said. What do you mean by what kind of STEM?
Well, my job title says nothing about what I actually do. So, school for chemical engineering, and currently I work at Roche Tissue Diagnostics, and I would say I'm contributing to other people's cancer research.
Okay.
There's this big fancy machine that's like an automated slide tissue staining machine. It's like very cool and it whirs and sounds like Wall-E and stuff. And I make all the reagents that like you put in the machine and you like stain and try to use different antibodies and like try to find different cancers. But everything I do is research use only, so other institutions are buying it for their research.
You're making the reagents for all kinds of
Yeah.
other people.
Like my sister's a nurse and they use our reagents at the hospital. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. So are you by yourself when you're doing this kind of work? Are you with like a bunch of scientists in the lab and you're beakers into beakers kind of thing?
There's like 7 of us.
Okay.
And me and one other person are pretty much doing the formulations. And then we do a bunch of other boring stuff like put those formulations in little dispensers and then we package them all up. So we kind of do the whole thing. So
What's the fun part? If you had to say there's a fun part, assuming there is one.
getting paid. No, the fun part is just hanging out with my coworkers because there is a really like cool rapport that we have. Like it's a very laid back and fun, friendly environment. So that's the best part. And feeling like I'm actually kind of using my degree in a way feels cool.
And what degree is that?
Chemical engineering.
Cool. Bachelor's, I assume.
Yes.
And that's all you need for anything you wish to do? Are you planning on doing more schooling? Not that you have to.
Yeah, honestly, probably not until I see that it's like necessary or I'm feeling like it would do something significant to my salary or something like that. Yeah.
Do you have any aspirations at your job of owning the, for lack of words, reagent shop or anything of that kind of vein?
Maybe going up to like a scientist, senior scientist type level. There's like a senior scientist and a scientist in each little department, and he gets paid pretty well, and he's kind of just like, I don't even know what he does.
I was
to be
about to say, because
honest.
when you call him a scientist, I'm like, that's vague.
Yeah, no, I think it's vague on purpose
Oh.
because like different scientists in different departments like do different things. So I think it's just kind of a general like almost like managing the group.
Science.
Yeah. Science. So I'm gonna do a science one day. Yeah.
Good.
But I don't really like I have such a hard time like picturing what I want to do, picturing the future and whatnot, that like I don't have any huge goals and plans at the moment, you know?
That's okay. That
Yeah.
could be, in my opinion, maybe, I don't know if easier is necessarily the word, but kind of, in the sense that you're not too, at least I'm extrapolating a bit, that you might not be so stressed about
Yes.
tomorrow and what am I doing today to get ready for tomorrow, and or the next day or the next day and the next day. So that's got to be at least a nice weight off your shoulders, purposeful or not.
Totally, yeah. I can kind of like leave my work at work and not really stress out. Like I do a good job, I do my best, and I sometimes go above and beyond. But yeah, I'm not like sucking up to everybody and like trying to move up the ladder super fast or anything.
That's nice.
Yeah. Maybe I should be. I don't know, but like I just it's
You
just,
got to be on the shit all the time.
it's just not like where my heart is at. I'm like, this is my job. Like I come here for money and I don't think about what happens next.
So what happened before, like as far as your chemical engineering degree? This is at the University of Arizona. Mm-hmm. And did you know, like in high school, that you wanted to go into that, or how'd you get into that track of being like, yeah, this is my jam?
Okay, so something you have to know about me is up until, well, maybe currently, I'm pretty much motivated by the need to not disappoint my parents. So even though I was really big into art in high school and everything, it was kind of like, well, I can't get an art degree, you know?
They won't like that.
Yeah. So I think what set me on that track is like, okay, you know, doing AP classes, I'm sure we were both like gifted kid, right? Like in those special classes.
I took one AP class, but I get what you, yeah, like,
Like
not
in
the smarty.
elementary school, how they're like, oh, you know how to read well, like
Oh,
you're
I thought you were talking like
gifted.
AP in elementary
No,
school. I'm like,
no,
what
no.
school did you go to?
It's so strange how they're like, oh my god, this third grader is so good at reading. She's gifted, and then set you
I
up
see
for
what
a
you mean.
life
Gotcha.
of disappointment.
Foreshadow.
Yeah. Okay, so I basically always felt like I need people to know that I'm smart. Like, I need people to know I was not like smart. You know, I just was like good at school and like enjoyed learning.
Pause.
Pause.
What do you mean by smart? Why did you feel like you weren't smart?
I'm not like I wasn't a genius or anything. I think it's because I was comparing myself to friends who felt like geniuses to me. So I'm like, oh well, I was good at school, but I'm not this like.
Not them.
Yeah, I'm not like crazy or anything. Yeah. So when I started taking AP classes in high school, I think it was more of a social thing because then I got into the IB program, International Baccalaureate.
Oh.
Fancy. Just like international AP, and then you take the test and you get credits. I feel like I was trying to think why I even did that, because like I don't even know, but I think it was a social move because my crush and one of my best friends, they were both like, we're doing this thing called IB and like we're so smart.
Fucking send
And
it,
I was
I'm
like,
in.
I'm doing that. I'm sure my mom was like, hey, you could like do this thing, and then I was like, oh, my crush is there? Yeah, I'll do that.
It's okay, I like you.
Yeah. And my bestie Ryan from middle school, like he was there, so I'm like, okay, this sounds pretty awesome. And then once it came time for like college decisions, you know how your advisors in high school or the counselors would be like, okay, kids, like, you gotta apply for colleges, you gotta like figure out what you wanna do. I was 16 and 17, so like, I don't know. I haven't, and like going back to what I said earlier, I could not imagine me being an adult. I couldn't even imagine going to college. It was just like some magical fake thing
Yeah.
that was like gonna happen one day, like to me. Like I wasn't doing it, but it was gonna happen
Just
to
at
me.
my door.
Yeah, and so then all my friends in IB are like, well, I'm going to Stanford, I'm going to Duke, I'm going to Berkeley. And I was like, what the fuck, you guys? I was like, I don't want to be that far away from my mom. Like, I don't really want to do all that. And so, like, a couple of us were like, well, I'm going to just go to a state school. I only applied to ASU and U of A.
Okay, you went to high school in Arizona.
Yes, I went to high school in Arizona. 2.5 hours away from Tucson. So that was my only, like, deciding factor was, well, ASU is so close that my parents could pop in. And I want to be, like, within a few hours of them, but I don't want to be, like, surprise
There.
me unannounced
Yeah.
time away. Yeah. So that was pretty much, I was like, I don't know, I guess I'm going to U of A. And then when everybody was like, I'm going to be an engineer, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a this, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to apply as engineering undecided because everybody else is doing it and I don't really know what else to do.
Like in the river, like, I guess we're floating this way.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, I don't know how. It just felt like they all knew. Like, they felt so much, like, more mature and, like, ready to be adults than me. And so, like, I never said, I never asked, like, going back, I would have asked, like, how do you guys know? Like, so I just kind of did what they were doing. I'm like, oh, we're doing engineering? Okay.
Well, I wonder how many people go through that similar, I guess, comparison or unprepared feeling. I know when I was in high school looking at colleges, it was always kind of like I don't know, like, I liked how you said, like, it doesn't seem like it's happening to me or, like, it's not real. I felt kind of like that. Like, oh, I'm just, like, looking at colleges, but it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Like, it really wasn't until graduated, went on senior trip, and then even after, like, that first month of summer when you're just like, yay! You just, like,
Yeah,
celebrate
that was the best
graduated.
summer.
Yeah, you're just like, fuck, yay! And then you realize, oh, that's right, I applied for the U of A and I'm going to be there for, in August. I got to get
Yeah.
ready for there. So, like, July comes around and you finally start thinking about it. But I kind of knew what I was going to do. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. Like, I did, I think I was undeclared science major when I first came in. So I had to, like, go through talking to some counselor and
Yep.
try to figure it out. And she did not like me much. She was a nice person, but she's like, what do you like? And I said 24 things. And she's like, okay, well, what do you
yeah,
really
yeah,
like? And I
yeah.
said 12 things. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, God, what? Physiology's pretty broad. Just take that. I'm like, okay.
But that seems better than the person who's like, oh no, I don't really like anything. Like, it's better
Yeah.
to have a lot of interests.
Because then you can at least shave things off and find something
Yeah.
instead of trying to pull something out of who knows where.
Because you said you did kind of know what you wanted to do.
Yeah, back then I was pretty convinced I was going to do medical school. At the time, I was pretty locked in on pediatric oncology, kids
Yeah.
cancer thing. So I was like,
Kind of
I
a
want to get
bummer.
there. Yeah. I never did like any research on how does one become that or how do I get there.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, go to med school and you'll figure it out from there. It was kind of like my whole mindset back then.
Yeah, I liked in the first episode when you were like, well, that was actually kind of a bummer. And I didn't really think about the implications of that. I'm like, I feel that.
You see like the nice videos that come around Christmas. You go, oh, the poor kid's sick. Oh,
Like, I do want to help the kids.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Yeah, then I have to see them all the time, and
Aw.
they're taking care of themselves, and I got to try to take care of them
Someone's gotta help the
too.
kids.
Yeah, someone's got to help the kids. It's just not me. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm inspiring other kids' cancer doctors with this podcast. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to me. It's a great thing. Go into it.
Probably very
You're
rewarding.
stronger than me.
It wasn't real until I got dropped off at my condo on my parents like bought this condo. It was east side, so I had to drive 20 minutes to school. 15 minutes. I'm being dramatic. 22nd in Wilmot. But they dropped me
Oh, okay, I know
off
what you're
and
talking
they're like she's crying and I'm like okay, like bye guys, and they drove out and I was just like, "Oh, I'm like alone
This is
and an
me now.
adult." Yeah. Which
Damn.
still, like, can you believe we were just freshly 18 and, like, go figure it out on your own?
It is very strange to me. I kudos to those of you who can have your act like together at 18, 19. You know what you're going to do, you're pretty comfortable, whether it's family lineage tells you that you're going to be doing this for sure and you're like, cool, I like that, or you got inspired by something as a kid and you're like, oh, I love being at the greenhouse and I like plants now, so I'm going to go be a plant biologist, whatever. Also looking back, I'm like 18, and luckily my mom helped teach me a lot of things that make adulting easier. I can cook, I can do laundry, I can exist on my own comfortably. Everything else is just figuring out, well, what the hell am I doing? I just gotta go do classes, and what classes, and this, what do I want my job to be? I didn't have to worry about living in that sense, as far as like, I know how to do the part that keeps me alive. Now I gotta do the part that makes me happy that I'm alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's more than some people came into it with. Yeah. I still, thinking back, I can't even imagine, I can't even, I was a child. I can't believe I just went from living at my parents' house and, being cared for every day.
And then
Yeah.
it just dropped right off. Bye-bye.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's better than, some other mammals where it's, birth you and it's like, all right, see ya.
Yeah, you were right off the bat. Bye-bye, bud.
Have a good life. Go find
Never
food.
see you again. So, while you were an undeclared engineer, was that a long time? Was there anything what turned to chemical engineering in the end? Was it just a pick?
No, I mean, in high school, I did love this, sciences, biology, and I never took a chemistry class or a physics class in high school. So,
Really?
yeah.
You didn't have to take even a physics,
it was
whatever?
2 years. You picked physics or you picked biology.
That's dumb shit.
Yes. So, oh my god, when I took my first physics class at U of A, that was the scariest thing ever. But, yeah, I took, all the, intro, what do you want to be kind of engineering classes, and then I think it was when I took my first chemistry class and did the lab, I was like, oh yeah, I think I like mixing stuff together, and this, makes me feel very, important in some way.
Your robe or jacket on.
It just felt like real science, a tangible part of science that I was like, yeah, I like this. So then I, kind of was like, maybe biomedical engineering, because that sounds really fancy. And then I went to, one club meeting, and I was like, this is, not as cool as I thought. So I settled on chemical because I liked the labs. And, I mean, shout out to Paul Blowers, Dr. Paul Blowers. He's, the head of the chemical engineering department at U of A. He was, really helpful to all of us. He, made us become friends with people and, work in groups and everything, and he was he talked so much about how chemical engineering, you can do almost anything with it, because a lot of us wanted to do environmental engineering or just chemistry or stuff like that. So he kind of stressed how every single field needs chemical engineers. He would have this fun exercise where he was think of any job, think of anything, I can tell you where there's a chemical engineer. So that was okay, at least there's a lot of options here.
Did he teach one of those intro engineering
He
classes?
taught quite a few of our classes,
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool to have the big dog come down and inspire the masses into it
He
and
didn't
such.
feel like a big dog. He was a down-to-earth man. He was almost he has a nervous energy that's very approachable. Yeah.
That's always good. Not everyone gets to have the role model or the inspirational person that can pop down and help get you onto that track, whether
Yeah.
you love chemical engineering or not. In a sense, it's some people just kind of for me with physiology, that specific degree to going into med school, it was just a degree. I didn't have anyone who's oh, physiology's the one to do it, and la 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 la. I was okay, whatever. So if I had that person, would it make me stick onto it more?
Maybe not, yeah.
Yeah.
But he definitely hyped me up about it a little bit, made it feel like it was a really cool thing to do. And I feel like I can credit him for finding all of my friends, because he really said you're not going to get through this unless you work in groups. And I was like, oh, that's scary, but
Social aspect.
he was right. It was hard and a lot of homework copying, but yeah.
So for anyone who's listening and might be considering chemical engineering in that vein, because it might seem a little confusing for anyone on the outside who doesn't know too much about chemistry or even engineering, and then you're trying to mix the both together. So do you have a hammer and a beaker? Do you only mix together gravel? Like, what makes it chemical and what makes it engineering? I guess is the fast way to ask that.
I think that anybody who is a chemical engineer would have a different answer.
That's fine.
I feel like I've never actually had a job post college that is true chemical engineering,
Okay.
but I would say it's a lot of like process control type stuff. Like it's like, we did everything like piping diagrams and like distillation and stuff. So it's like I don't even really fully know what chemical engineering is. Like, yes, there's sometimes chemicals and there's sometimes engineering, but like there's not always both. There's not always either. It feels like, yeah, like I have friends at Boeing who are chemical engineers. I have friends who do agriculture, like quality control of corn kernels for like mass cord production. I have a friend, I would say my friend who does the most real chemical engineering is like a process control engineer, where like she works at a mine and is like seeing all these like instrumentation diagrams and is like optimizing a process for some mining, refining, things like that. But like, as Dr. Paul Blowers would say, there's chemical engineers anywhere, like food production, cosmetics. I think that if I had to pick like a dream job, like I would say maybe cosmetic chemistry, making makeups and new formulations and stuff. But yeah, I don't even fully know what chemical engineering is. I did 4 years of it and never fully grasped that.
Well, good. So we're all just sitting there like, well, it sounds cool. It's very official and vague. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think it is vague because like there's so many different things you could do with it. My first job out of school was
good.
absolutely not chemical engineering.
What was it?
So, okay. I feel like this needs like a backstory.
Ooh, this has got some layers. I like it.
So, okay, did you have to do the, what do they call it? Like the job fairs at U of A. Were you forced into doing this?
Like be one of the booths?
No, like
Or go to them?
To them.
Forced to, no. I did go to like one or two, but I don't think I was ever
Okay.
like told to for a class or
Okay.
my degree.
It was very much encouraged, if not like this is the thing you have to do amongst like I think most of the engineering degrees. It was like, okay, engineering job fair is happening, so dress up, get your fancy resume, and like go get an internship or a job. And to me, that was the most terrifying experience ever. Like I went to one and I just felt like I know nothing. They would be like, oh, so do you want to learn about semiconductors and like what do you know and blah blah blah, and I was like, I'm gonna cry actually. So many times I did just leave and cry and I didn't even talk to anybody because I felt so far like behind everybody else. Because like these guys, like these engineering bros would show up with their like thick cardstock resumes and like a leather binder and a full suit, and I'm like, guys, is it like...
And their homemade robot on their shoulder.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys are like honestly taking this too seriously. Like, I wasn't taking it seriously enough, but like,
They're still a median.
Yeah, so they were really, really scary, and everybody was like getting these fancy internships and stuff and like working over the summer, and like I didn't try hard enough to get one because I felt so unsure of myself that I never got one, and I just worked my like normal jobs over the summer, and then everybody would come back and be like, yeah, I actually like did really fancy stuff over the summer and I'm like pretty much an engineer now. And I was like, oh great, 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 great. I'm like falling even more behind now and I'm never getting a job. And okay, so that's what leads me into my first job after college. Was I graduate and some people already had jobs lined up because they had internships. Some people had been applying the whole year and had their jobs lined up. And I was like, I have no experience. I mean, I worked like a lab job at U of A in the biomedic, some department, I don't know. It was just some research, but it was not anything relevant to anybody. And so I was like, I don't know, nobody's gonna accept me. Like, what's gonna happen? I just need a job. So my friends got all these fancy jobs, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start applying. And I get a call back from the Prime Leaf cannabis dispensary. So I had applied.
I'm like, why do I know that name?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. So I had kind of convinced myself it was a growing position, cultivation. I had convinced myself that there was some sort of relevant engineering work to be done there. Because I was like, okay, there's chemicals to fertilize plants, and there's probably a process that one could control, and like diagrams, and I was like, okay, we can work with this. And so I went to the interviews, and I was like, listen, I just got a chemical engineering degree. Yeah, not to brag. But I want to apply that here, maybe? And they were kind of like no hate to them, but they were kind of like, I think that, yeah, like you could totally apply that here, and like we do totally need somebody like that. It'd be super useful. And I was like, yes, let's go. I combined two of my interests. And then when they said I'll be making minimum wage, I went, oh no, I don't think this is what I thought was happening. And I had already told my mom I got a job that was relevant in chemical engineering, and then she kept being me like, how much are you getting paid? That's so cool. And I was like, $13.50. And so she was like, that doesn't really sound like a chemical engineering job. You could probably be getting more. And I was like, I got this, okay? Like, they said it's just that for the first couple of months, and then like once I get in there, like, don't worry, I got this.
Classic.
So, yeah, it was just fully cultivation, like growing the plants and harvesting them and like watering them and stuff. And it was cool. Like, it was a good job. Kind of. And
just not what you had hoped.
Yeah, it was a cool job. Like, there was drama and whatever. There's a lot of drama in that industry. But it just was not anything to do with anything that I thought it was. Like, I don't know what kind of mental gymnastics I did to be like, this is chemical engineering.
I found my thing.
Yeah, I was just honestly so terrified that I would not get a quote-unquote real job that I was like, yep, I'm taking it. Cool, awesome. And yeah, that's how I got my first job. That was not at all chemical engineering, but I kind of pretended it was.
For all your friends that did get jobs, apparently, like right away, is that a common thing with that major, as far as like you do an internship or something and you're pretty much out the gate, you're gonna have, you assuming you're like going out of your way to like find things, you're gonna have a job out the bat?
It felt like it. Yeah, it felt like you either do an internship and then the next year they invite you back for a job, or you do an internship, you might even do 2 internships, and then you have enough experience to get like an intro level process engineer, chemical engineer, some sort of job. And I just felt like nobody would want me because I didn't get an internship, and I better just take something.
And the internships were pretty much all found at that career fair situation. Okay.
Yeah. There was times where I put my little suit on, I printed my resumes out, and I just was like, I can't do this. Nope. And then I would stay home. So, yeah.
I mean, it is such a strange thing. I mean, if you look at it for the student side, you know, it's easy enough to be on the booth side and be like, oh, I'm just here to find candidates, no big deal. If we find people, I don't, whatever, doesn't matter. And then for like, let's say it's us that have to go to the career fair, you gotta get dressed up, you gotta look presentable, you gotta have your shit, and you have to somehow talk well enough to this person.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, communication, what's my strength, what's my weakness? And you do the whole like job interview, but you only got like a minute, you know, like they want to talk to you for not that long. Maybe they like your vibe and they will, but they're there to do the numbers, get a bunch of people, shoot their shit, whatever. And so I can see how that would get in the way of shit tons of people, especially in STEM. We have a certain type of people generally, not saying that everyone is socially less perfect, but that can be a semi-common person to show up in any field, and it's tough to have that system in place where it's like, oh, we need to have our next generation of chemical engineers here. We're going to pick the ones that can talk the best. Kind of how that goes.
Or the ones who are like somehow passionate about it. Like there's so many people in these majors that just feel like they're like already little businessmen, and they like know how to talk and they know what to say, and like like, how could you compete with that when you're like, I don't know, I just kind of want a job. I actually just need one. I don't even want one.
Yes. I didn't want to be part of this whole like job market economy, but I'll do it.
But I do need to pay my bills.
I need money anyway. Yeah, that's kind of tough because, I mean, you would hope that like in the internship itself, that's how they would wean people out. Be like, oh, he's just Joe Schmo that likes to talk and he doesn't know jack shit about chemistry. Or maybe he can do both. Or maybe she can do this, that, the other thing, but maybe isn't good at talking. But if she wasn't able to convince you to bring her in, you're never going to find out. And so I wonder, you know, it's one of those philosophical things that might keep some people up. How many people were missed from being big scientists of today just because they
Yeah.
couldn't get that first foot in the door?
Yeah.
Not because of their skills in science and such, but because of all these other social tertiary things of speaking, presenting, and whatever else you want to bring up.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, well, hopefully, it couldn't have just been me, but a lot of people were very anxious and held themselves back, but those might be the people who, like, will really thrive and do well, but, like, it's just hard to really put yourself out there and, like, get them to know who you actually are in, you know, an interview or in a 5-second, you know, elevator pitch or whatever they want you to do.
They should do, at least in this mindset of chemistry, it'd be fun. I mean, engineering obviously gets a little, any of the degrees gets complicated, so everyone who's going to hear my thing, calm down. For like chemistry, it pops in my head, but it'd be fun if they did like a mock lab thing where they take one of the chemistry labs, let's say it's in Koffler, very official, all the hoods and stuff like that. And nothing complicated, just like, here's some random script of things we need you to do. We need you to distill this, create that, purify, blah. And go. And just have the few people that are there to get interns just walk around and be like, so who's talking to who? Do they need a lot of help?
Yeah.
No, they don't need help. They're just interacting with people. Okay, cool. This one's independent. I notice that they're kind of screwing things up. I'm going to, hey, don't do that. And they push me away. All right, I'm not too excited. You know, just take
Yeah.
notes, and that'd be perfect of like, you want someone who's doing the job you want, see what they are doing in that job. That'd be perfect.
Totally, because like you can bullshit your way easily through an interview if you're a confident person, but then it's just like you could be the worst.
And they're like, oh, just go ahead and make like 5 drams of this. And they made like, what's the next size of dram? Is it dram, microdram, or decadram? They end up
Sure,
making like
a
50
macro.
decadrams or something. And you're like, okay, you made a whole bunch of shitty liquid I don't need. And that just costed me $1,000 in this mock situation. And I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And plus, then you could get notes afterwards, too, of someone be like, oh, you know, like you do really well at purification. You do really good at distilling. But we would have liked that you interacted with others. Like maybe there's a step that you could have made things a lot faster if you guys shared the machine or whatever dumb stuff. And that could be a good point for anyone to
Yeah.
improve.
Because I think a lot of engineering or chemistry, it's mostly just like instruction following. Yeah, so like you don't know that based off talking to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm so good at it following instructions.
I can build IKEA furniture. That's why I worked at IKEA for a while, so I could build the furniture.
I think there's 2 people that I know whose cats' names are Peanut Butter.
Really?
Yeah. Because, like, when I walked in, you're like, this is Peanut Butter, and I was like, I don't think that's Peanut Butter. There's another one.
But does that peanut butter have a backstory like this one on
I
why
don't-
they got named peanut butter?
No, but what is that?
So for anyone listening, you haven't really seen peanut butter probably, but peanut butter, my cat, she's like this brown tiger type, so that helps a little bit visually of naming her peanut butter. But the pound type that we got her from gave her that name because when they found her at however young little kitten sort of thing, whatever, she was just on like the side of the road with a peanut butter jar stuck on her head.
Oh, no.
And I thought that was perfect. And
Aw.
she still likes peanut butter. Like she'll go to fucking town if you get a spoonful of peanut butter. But does not like if you try to pet her with both your hands, whatever. Enclosed space is
Yeah.
bad. Peanut butter's
That's
still good.
traumatizing. Who knows how long she was in that peanut
Well, it's
butter
funny how
jar.
only the one thing is what's traumatizing. The
Yeah,
peanut butter, she's like,
yeah.
fuck, I'd still go back in that jar for that.
It's like, now I have a human to rescue me from the jar.
Come on. There you go. It's closer. There, some of you can see the little baby cat there.
Oh, yes.
You've been chosen.
Yes.
Wow.
I
don't think she's taken anyone that fast as far as like getting on their lap and such.
I feel like cats can sense how much I love them. Like, I'm one of those people who... Oh, she's already on. I'm one of those people who swears, like, if I were to go into the wild, a tiger could just sense that I had pure vibes and like not attack me.
Then I'd be chill.
know.
Let me go in the enclosure.
I know everybody says that, but I mean it.
Mine's real.
I have pure vibes, and they would just know
They
that
would
I
know it. Man, they know. Okay, so we'll put some of the sciencey side away a bit. I want to go back to more
Thank
of
God, 'cause I don't
your
know
art.
anything.
I'm just there. I don't fucking know it all. I went to school, but throwaway. Yeah, I know that. Art. Decide one day. I'm even looking at your bottle here, and you got some of the stickers, like with your cat there and such.
Yeah.
What do you usually do to be in an artistic mood as far as do you generally randomly draw once or twice a week? Do you make sure to just go outside once in a while? How do you channel your more artistic side?
Well, it kind of helps me to view other art, which can be bad too, because then you kind of get like, oh my god, there's so much art and it's all better than mine, and like, why should I make anything new? But I would say I get the most inspired when I like go to a gallery or like an open studio is what really does it for me. Like when you can see other artists' studios, because it's very like aspirational. It's like, well, I want my own studio. This looks like awesome. There's a old rug in here, and the vibes are right. So a little bit of that, a little bit of just like not being super sucked into like your phone and stuff. Like whenever I put my phone down, I go on a walk with like no podcast, no music, just like pure thoughts. Like that's when I kind of get good ideas, because I do kind of have a hard time getting new ideas. Like that's my struggle with art. I don't know how some artists are just like have a million new fresh painting ideas every week. I don't know, that's the hard part to me. But like anything, like that's why the cats are easy. Like I could draw my cat a million times. If I don't know what to draw, like just paint my cat.
That's still good.
Oh, it is.
I mean,
yeah.
it's still. Like, what's the difference between if you saw your cat and drew it, and someone else just wanted to keep making? I don't have a cat, but I made 14,000 different still lifes of a cat. It's the same end product in a sense. So.
And I just think once you start doing anything, it like snowballs to actually good ideas. So I kind of try to set like I want to try to do art every day. Just do a little bit of something. It doesn't always happen, but like I think I want to be a little bit stricter about that to myself. Like even if you make one little circle, it never just stops there, you know? I'm like, okay, 5 minutes, we're gonna journal, we're gonna doodle, and then suddenly I'm like sucked in for hours. So I think just starting, seeing where it goes.
You mentioned how you get inspiration going to galleries, but I know that you've been in galleries. Some of your art has been in some, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit here and there. The first thing I ever did was at a cat cafe, which was like perfect. That was like, I feel like that was a turning point in my art career. Like it starts it because there was like an art show at the cat cafe, and I was like, what if I just email them and be like, hey, I do cat art. Can I like be...
Is that your guys' vibe?
Yeah. They're like, cats, do you like art? And so, yeah, they were just like, yeah, we'd love to have you in this. And so, like, my mom drove from Phoenix to Tucson to, like, be in this cat cafe with 3 other people and look at my art. But it was awesome. It was cool. And then after that, yeah, I should be working harder to, like, put my art out there. But right now I have, like, I sell prints and stickers in a Warm Shape, a shop at the Mercado Annex. Yeah. So it's a very good vibe. But I want to work with more artists. Like, I feel like I want to, like, do creative stuff with other people more. That's something I need to figure out, like, what's everyone doing? Like, we gonna craft together or what?
How to collaborate in some way.
Yeah. Or just, like, do art side by side. Do your own separate thing. Yeah.
When you say, like, promote and, like, get your art and such out there more, like, working harder to do that, what do you mean? Like, what exactly? Do you know what you'd want to do to try and get you out there?
Maybe, because like there's a lot of like coffee shops, restaurants that have a lot of local art, and like I try to follow like every single local artist I can on Instagram just to like kind of suss out like, well, what are you doing? Where's your art going? And I think like Tucson has a vibrant art community or
Huh.
whatever. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that I could be like, hey, coffee shop, like, would you like to put my art up? I see you have other artists' stuff up. Or just like applying to shows, applying to galleries. But yeah, I feel like you kind of have to like people just, everybody knows somebody. So it's like, oh, my friend's like, you know, running this gallery and so I don't fully know. Yeah. Like this one gallery that I go to for the first Saturday art walk, I try to go every first Saturday, and they all have little studios. Like they do an open studio with the art walk, and it seems like all the people in the gallery studios are showing the work at the gallery. So I'm like, ooh, so do I just need to like have a studio and like people know about my art?
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you want to have a studio, get a studio, and then you can have the studio. And
Yeah,
then...
yeah. I mean, I think that might be my like ultimate art dream is like have a cute little studio that I could like host other people, kind of like what I was saying. I want to do more like not even collaborate on a piece together, but just like talk to other artists and like all work on our own stuff together and just more like have like a group, you know, like to be creative with. Because there's one gallery at this Steinfeld warehouse, I think that's what it's called. And she always has other artists just like working on stuff, and it's like such a fun energy. And I'm always like a little I walk in every time and I'm
be
like,
there.
I was like, so how do I get in here with you guys? Like, we want to be friends now, or so if I could like start my own thing and then just be like, hey guys, like
Here's my
all
stuff.
day Friday, come over, bring your stuff, let's like hang out. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
The only thing in the way, I guess, there is rent.
That's the only thing. Like, I would do it now if I had infinite money.
You artists don't have infinite money? What the
Yeah.
fuck? You guys always have money. What the shit?
Yeah. We are very good at spending all of our money on supplies and then never actually selling anything.
Yay.
Yeah. Especially with my new hobby of jewelry making. It is an expensive hobby.
All jewelry for you.
Yes. No, that's exactly what it is. It's like, okay, I'm going to spend $600 on all of this silver and all these supplies. And I'm like, well, I'm attached to all these actually. So I'm not
I
going
don't
to sell
want
any of
them.
them. Yeah.
Did you go to town at all for the most recent gem show? Or?
Yes. I think I went like 4 or 5 times
Damn.
throughout the month. I love gem show season. Get anything good?
This one was last year.
Ooh, Morganite?
That sounds familiar.
Okay, that's pretty.
I shop off of looks, not off of
Okay,
name.
yeah. That's nice. That is like very...
I wasn't going to get it at first. Like, I went 2 days. I went like on the first Sunday and then the second Sunday or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that first week, looked around, couldn't find anything. I knew I wanted a ring and a pendant, is usually what I look for.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing I could find, because it's tough to be a man. It's
Yep.
tough to be a man
With
who likes
giant
colors.
fingers?
Yeah, with big fingers, and you like colors. And so the dude rings, we'll call them, are usually simple bands, brown, black, red, blue.
Yeah.
Maybe blue.
You
And it's not
gotta
even
spice
cool
it
blue.
up.
Yeah. And couldn't find anything, and I like pinky rings, so that wasn't the problem. I did want to find more first finger rings. That's where that is, just some random, not titanium, but right next door. It's just some metal, whatever.
Well, that's cool.
And I go to this booth, and they have this one, the malignanite, whatever,
Don't quote me on that.
the M word. And I'm looking at the rings, and all of a sudden I see this little sign that says 90% off. And I'm like, fuck, okay, I guess I'll get one.
That's a steal.
I
Yeah,
know.
90.
I was like, it was one of those things like, I'm so glad I'm shopping today. I would be devastated if I shopped last week and I was like, oh, this
Imagine.
is a $270 ring. I'm like, oh, let's go back to the gem show. And then, oh, now they think it's $30. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's not like Costco where you can just go return it and be like,
Can I
oh,
get the
you
new
have a sale
price?
now? Yeah.
So it worked out. Plus, I would literally, like the week or two before, I got a brand new greenish and purple-ish suit. And I'm like, I want to find things that match that.
Yes.
And this is both.
That's perfect. I think that was even like my first impression of you as a person. I was like, well, there's a man who's not afraid to have a little fun with it. You had like, you would wear like a straw hat and then like a, like a Hawaiian shirt, and I'd be like, he's having a little bit of fun with it. Like, thank God, everyone's so boring.
I don't want to fucking remember the stupid straw
Straw.
Stetson hat thing, whatever.
Yeah.
God.
Well, that's how I knew, like, you're waiting to go in class. I'd be like, I don't have any friends in this class. Okay, there's that straw hat dude.
Is that how we became friends? You
Yeah.
saw the tall, weird
Yeah,
guy? You're like, oh, yeah, man.
I was like, okay, no friends. This person looks nice.
Well, at least that was true.
And you weren't.
That was a bitch. Yeah, a decade later, I feel like I'm a little bit nicer, but...
No,
Yeah.
you're nice back then. I guess I assessed the vibes enough that you were nice enough to sit next to at least, yeah.
And plus, it was hard to find good... Was that the astrobiology gen ed?
That was that one that was like in the dome.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even know if I actually paid attention to what was happening, but
Had like 3 or 4 classes there that semester, and I think it was astrobiology.
okay.
I don't remember. There's 2 getting there right back to back. One of them was
Yeah.
with you, and the other one, but that one was so dull.
It was, yeah. I don't think I actually remember the work because it felt pretty boring. But it was awesome to be in that dome.
Yeah, astronomy and full dome planetarium, all that's cool.
Yeah.
This class wasn't. So
The
got it.
laser show there was awesome. Went to the Pink Floyd laser show. That was
Oh yeah,
sick.
everyone who loves shopping at Prime Leaf goes to the laser
Yeah.
shows.
I was sober and I had
Oh,
a great time.
The 1%. I remember working the shows, and you like open the doors. It's like 9:00. All right, everyone. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
geez, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Get a little contact high at work just from cleaning it out after.
Yep, there people have been going in Tucson. I think the Pink Floyd show has been going for 20 plus years. It could be closer to like even 30, something
Yeah.
stupid. And there's people that have been coming to it at least once a year, if not every month, for that whole time. That's just their pastime.
I'd go again. Yeah, that was great.
I'm just more thinking about the gallery stuff. The one with like, it always seems like to me it's like the big sex art gallery of the year.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Can you tell me anything about that? Because I really don't know much about it. It just always seems like all of a sudden, like, blam, it's the big thing of the year.
Yeah, okay, that is the Tucson Erotic Art Show.
Okay.
And we are only one of a couple, like, big erotic art shows in the country, I guess I'll say. I hear of the Tucson Art Show and I hear of a Seattle Erotic Art Show. So, like, it does draw people from all around the country. I don't know why. I was stuck on country. I was like, is country, like, the United States? Or
Is
the
that
whole
one
world?
of those?
And okay, so I went there for the first time 4 years ago with my friend. I was like, this seems like crazy. Let's go. And I went, and there's all these like strippers and like shows and people like wearing almost nothing. And I was like, this is it was almost less about the art, more about the community. It was a very accepting, like tolerant sort of space. Like,
Oh.
do anything, say anything, any type of person. And the art was wild. The thing that there was like giant alien dildos that had little eggs that come out. They were huge and scary and like gorgeous looking. They were pieces of art. And then there was another one that was like a weird like sexual grimace thing. I have a picture that I'll show you later. And I was just like, this shit's crazy.
Opens the box.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know you were allowed to draw things like that. And I thought you like maybe would get in trouble.
This
or
is middle
something.
school stuff, you get
Yeah.
your notebooks burned.
And so I told my friend, I was like, I'm gonna submit art to this next year. Like, this is a really fun event. And I did, and I had 3 pieces of art in it the first year. And then I was like, well, this is a tradition now because I can't just like be casual about anything. So then it's been 3 years now. So I've had some work in it for the last 3 years.
Damn.
And it is so fun.
It seems like
So
a, like,
fun.
like a fun little. Never been to it.
You gotta go
itself.
next
I just
year.
see when is it? It's come already.
It was March 1st.
March 1st. Okay.
Yeah.
It always seems like just this. Some people listening are like, oh, it's probably just like this totally nasty, gross, fucking sex everywhere type thing, and only from the little bit of media I've gotten, it's not like that. It's
No,
very
it was like some is graphic,
professional.
some is tasteful. Like, yeah, I mean, my one big piece, it was not sexual. It was like a bunch of watercolor painted underwear and stuff. So it doesn't have to be inherently like graphic.
full level 10.
Yeah, but there is that too. And yeah, there's space for
I got
everything.
fucked up when you talked about the eggs with the alien.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, that's what drew me in. I was like, okay.
What's going on here?
Anything goes. Yeah, yeah. So my stuff is a bit more tame. Like, even my mom liked the work that I made. So that's what made me be like, okay, this isn't like gonna destroy my reputation as an artist, or not that I have one, but
Maybe that's what makes your reputation
you
as
know,
an
when I'm the
artist.
president, they're gonna pull up like something and be like, she
Hey.
drew this.
I think at that point, there's probably bigger scandals.
I know.
You'd hope.
I can't get into my old Twitter. I don't know what I used to tweet, but somebody's gonna find it.
I don't like it when Facebook reminds me of the things I used to say. I'm like, God
Some
damn
dumb
it.
shit
Just dumb
stuff.
shit all the time. I was like, damn, he's a bitchy little guy. That was me.
I think the only thing I used to post on Facebook is like, truth is, I don't really know you that much, but you're super cool and we should hang out. Do you remember Truth Is?
Barely. Like, only kind of, not really.
Maybe as like a high school girl, it was a lot more important to me.
You
It
just
was
say
like
truth is.
lawless. You go, like my status for a truth is, and they basically like tell you stuff they would never say to your face, which was like the cool part.
Ah.
Yeah. Like, truth is, like, I think you're really cute. We should like hang out.
Ah.
It's like you would never say it offline, but like
Yeah, in person ever in my life.
yeah, and then you'd avoid each other at school.
Yeah, you would say it, and then you have that nice moment, and then it'd be it. Be forever gone.
Yeah. I loved that.
That was my shit. Okay. I guess just to make sure I cover them, there are the two finale
Ooh.
pieces. One's a big question, and the other thing's not that big deal.
Okay.
Not that the big one's a big deal at all, but you get one redo to your life from high school to today. Nothing sooner.
Whether high school to today?
Yeah.
Okay.
High school is as far back as you can go.
Okay.
Unless there's something just like really big that stands out. Whether it's something large you would change, like you would have actually dedicated yourself to going to art school, or something small, like if you said you wanted to do art every single day, maybe you would have started that when you were a junior in high school, whatever. If there's something big or small that you would have liked to redo, would you do it, and what would that be? And I preface post-fist, because I've already said the question. Some people get very like stuck on it because like it's going to change my entire life.
Yeah.
That's part of the point. But also, you don't get to have the redo. Actually, you know, we're not going back in time
Yeah,
right now.
theoretical redo, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
This is more for anyone who's at this same point. Like if you're saying, I would have dedicated myself to art school, and someone's in high school right now with the same story of like, I don't want to disappoint my parents, or art isn't worth it. Whatever they might be going through their head of like, I shouldn't go to art school for blah. And if you are someone to say, you know, I probably would, not that this is going to be your answer, it's just an easy one to talk off of, then that might help give someone just at least one extra person of saying, hey, this is what I would have done. And that would help them either take that redo you don't get to have and they can, or just at least have that one time of, well, I thought about it at least, and I can't regret it too much later on of like, well, you know, I tried. I thought about it. I didn't like it enough for XYZ, and this is where I am now.
Yeah. Okay, I do think I am that kind of person with first the cop-out answer, then the real answer of like, everything I've done has showed me, like, has made me grow and blah, blah, I'm exactly where, whatever. But I think my real answer is like, not taking everything like so seriously and like it's the end of the world, and been so intimidated and shy of my peers and of other adults. Like high school, college, post-college, I was just so like, well, I'm not as special and important and smart and nobody's gonna take me seriously, and I was afraid to go to office hours. Like I couldn't even speak to professors, you know? So I think if I could go back, it would just be like, none of this really matters in the long run, and like I'm just going to be myself and work on my confidence, because like now looking back at it, it's like, why was that all so scary? Like I get that it's all so new and you're just like this new adult in this world and everybody like seems to have it figured out, but I think I would have just been so much more playful with my life and like just not taking it so like everything in college, it just, I had so much fun, but when it came down to like school, it just all felt so like serious and heavy, and I let it get me so like depressed and anxious and stressed out, and it was just so like existential, like I don't know, who am I, and am I good at anything, and it made me go crazy, like. So I think I would just like chill out, just be myself, not care if I come off as the smartest person, not care if I'm respected by my peers because I'm like a little bit more of a silly goose than them or whatever. Like I just everything was so serious and it was so boring and it like scared me and I was like, "Oh, I have to like rein in my personality," which I haven't even like fully discovered what my personality is yet. And it made things like less fun and I was afraid to like make a lot of friends and I could have done better in school if I wasn't afraid to go to office hours too. Like maybe I would have gotten an internship if I wasn't just so like afraid of other people's judgment that didn't actually matter. Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, it is fully the truth answer because I don't regret like my course of schooling. I don't regret really anything that I did, but I do regret that I held myself back like emotionally almost because I was just so worried about everything and I did not need to be.
It's funny doing that question for, this is going to be episode 15 to 20, wherever it's going to be placed. And it's funny how 9 times out of 10, it's the same sort of answer that people give. It's not so much of what they did, it's how they did it. Whether it's, I wish I was more confident, or I wish I appreciated art more, so I would have that alongside me. Very few people really, I would have done a different school. I would have done a different degree. That complicates things. It's more about yourself and your own persona and personality and whatever that people would have augmented if they could, or just like, hey, I would tell myself blah. So any of you listening, pretend we're your future self going, hey, you can be cool and people like you still.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard though because you are still kind of figuring out who you are, which I have realized is like a lifelong thing because sometimes you feel like you're like faking, I don't know, that was the thing. I always felt like I was faking being like a person, But I would not. I think if you would have asked me at the end of college, I would have been like, I should have gotten an art degree. I should have pursued that. But talking to people who did do art degrees, they're like, nah, it like destroys your creativity because you're being told exactly what to do. So I think how I did it, I would have done more art looking back, but I wouldn't have focused on it in a career or schooling or anything because I think the self-taught, I mean, no one's ever self-taught because like you're viewing other stuff. That's a whole thing. People get mad when you're like, people get mad when you say you're a self-taught artist because you're like, no, you've been taught by so many people. It's a thing. But I think I would have like had the creativity smashed out of me. Like even when I have, like I want to take commissions because like I enjoy art and making money at the same time.
Wow.
Crazy. The second I get one, I'm like, I have to do this now.
They have all these requirements.
Yeah, and then it's like I completely pause my actual creativity. Like if I have a commission, even if I don't need it done for a month, it's like I can't do any other piece of art until it's done. So if I were to like be a graphic designer for my job, I think it would like really actually be detrimental to my real art.
It would not be great.
Yeah, so having a job that is fine, I like it, and then pays me enough to pay my bills and buy a bunch of cool art supplies and do that on my free time sounds all right to me. That's pretty nice. Ideal. Yeah.
I like how you brought up that, we're all just trying to figure out what being an adult is, and that changes all the time. Like, I had thought when I was like 21, 22, I kind of got to that level of like, all right, I feel like I'm a comfortable adult now. I did the more awkward high school and early college days. I think I've flattened it all out. And then it got to be like 24, 25, had some things happen and make you self-reflect and figure stuff out. And now I'm kind of getting back out of that trough I was in. I'm like, okay, I think I know what I am now. And there's probably going to be all kinds of more
so many
moments where you're
that.
like, I'm surprised I did that. Or, oh, that's cool that I did that. There's going to be all kinds of things that change. maybe make you, at least I would hope, makes you think and be like,
Think.
what? Yeah. Why did I do that? Or how could I do
Yeah.
that again? Or what did do I want that to
Yeah.
be a part of me? Does that matter? Is this a big thing, a small thing?
Yeah.
So,
I felt like I had the same thing around 21, 22, 23 even, that I was like, I think I've got this down. But then looking back, I was like, what? What kind of choices were you making? Did you feel like at 25, 26, your frontal lobe kind of like start to seal up a little bit? Because like I could feel it.
now for me, that's more like this last year. Like,
Me too.
like when I went back to school and stuff and going through classes again, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a care thing because I'm like, oh, college isn't that big of a deal. I've been in it and now I'm out of it and I survived. But I'm like, I don't have the rigor. I don't have like the quickness as much as I thought I would. You know, like it's physics stuff I was doing and that stuff was tough. But I'm like, what's going on, man? I used to remember stuff all the time, be quick and easy
Yeah.
shit. Now it's just like, what?
Yeah. Because how old are you now?
28.
Okay. I'm 27 and
Oh, I remember that year. I was so
Yeah,
27 was
times.
good.
But like yeah, at 26 and even still this year, like I just feel pieces of my brain like making more sense. Like I'll wake up one day and be like, I see why one would want to save money for a house. Or I'd wake up and be like, oh, I do want to keep my house clean because then I have a clean house which I can enjoy. Like little stuff like that that just like never, I was like, saving money didn't feel important. Like caring about things didn't, I don't know. I just keep having things like click into place where I'm like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm like making little steps to like be a real adult.
And maybe you never get there. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just this figment word
Yeah.
of like being an adult. What is that? Fuck, people just screwing around.
Yeah, but I feel, I don't know about you, but I feel the best I ever have right now. Like I feel the most like mentally competent and comfortable with myself as I ever have.
Good.
Still working on it,
Good.
but so far.
Same.
Yeah, I think that probably never ends.
Probably. That's the joy of living.
Yay. I mean, we have a lot of, like, it's kind of exciting how many years we still have left to, like, figure it all out. Yeah.
One hopes.
Hopefully that wasn't, like, a major jinx,
And
because that was
then that was the
pretty...
last time we ever saw Amber.
Yeah. I'll drive home carefully.
So then the last thing, I always turn over time to the guest at the end of unfettered. I just like saying that word. I'm not asking any questions. I'm not prompting you in any way besides saying you got 30 seconds or 30 minutes to be inspiring,
Oh,
be
God.
funny, to tell a story you wish I pulled from you during our conversation but didn't. Literally anything, even if it's just to say, thanks everyone, goodbye. What do you have to say?
Okay, I think I already did that because I felt like I yapped a lot. But,
It's only been an hour.
okay, that's not too bad. But... I feel like it's gonna just be reiterating what I said before of like,
Oh.
I know, drag. But it's like, it's not that serious. Like, we have one life, you know? And did you know that?
This is a bombshell,
a shock to me.
and I'm fucking livid about it. I'm not a fan.
But like, I'm not gonna want to look back on my deathbed and be like, good thing I was so serious at work all the time. Like, I'm really in an era of like, I want to have fun. I want to figure out who I am. I want to spend time with friends and family, go outside, just live life and like not decenter like work and traditional like, just like, I don't want to just have a boring life, basically. I don't want to have regrets, which that I'm still working on. There's things in the way that I should be doing better on, but just like, I kind of view myself looking in the mirror at 70 and 80 and being like, would I be proud of what I'm doing right now? Would I be happy that I did or didn't do certain things? That's kind of my approach to things right now, is like, oh no, I'm too nervous to do this thing. It's like, nah, 60-year-old me is not going to be like, whew, thank God we avoided 5 minutes of embarrassment.
I'm glad I was nervous that day.
Yeah, even back to the whole like college stuff and those job fairs. It's like that was so silly to be like, oh, this stranger might think I'm not super smart. They might think I'm kind of awkward. It's like, why did that feel so big? You know? I don't know. It felt big at the time, sure, but just almost trying to have that, like, zoom out, wider perspective of, like, okay, when I get, like, really bogged down on, like, stressing out about stuff, I do the whole, like, universe zoom out. Like that scene in Men in Black where it's just, like, Earth, and then everything, and then Andromeda Galaxy, and then this, that, and then I'm just like, oh, yeah, this means nothing. This means absolutely nothing. And honestly, that really does help me.
It helps to know that people, like, even when you're just, like, out on the street, people might see you, they might think about you, but they're all gonna forget about you.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you, like, you'd have to be doing something totally dramatic that just totally affects someone's life. They're gonna forget about you.
Yeah.
And that moment that you thought was gonna be such a big deal whiffs away into the abyss.
Yeah, and I think it goes kind of hand in hand about, like, everybody wants, okay, not everybody, people like me want to control what everybody thinks about them so badly. But
You ain't getting in here.
yeah, you don't know, like, my whole thing. Like, I might be presenting one way to one person because whatever. And then another person thinks I'm a whole different person. And then my family knows this version of me. And it's just like, I can't control the narrative because nobody sees or feels what's in my head, you know? So it's like, I don't know, just, like, try to release that control of who people think you are and what you should or shouldn't be doing, and just focus on what feels good and what feels authentic.
Just let it be.
Just let it go. I'm not gonna sing, but let it go.
And the whole podcast has been copyright law.
Oh no! That was not.
I just mentioned it. It's fine. I don't even know about any Molten movie. Molten, right? Hot, very hot.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I just sometimes have a sing-songy inflection to my voice.
Redacted. Well, thank you again for being on the show today, Amber. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Great to chat with you.
Good. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you again some other time. Have a good one until then. Bye-bye for now.
That was a good one. Good exit.